Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Andrew's Life. On this video, I will be doing West Anderson, Indiana. Man, just give me a minute here. I got my defroster on. Yeah, this video is going to be of West Anderson, Indiana. Now, this side of Anderson, Indiana is the poorest side of Anderson, Indiana. Now, if you're wanting to move here to Anderson, Indiana, this is going to be the side of town that many people are going to tell you to not move to. Now, me personally, I mean, I've been over on this side of town quite often. I got some friends who live over here, and I can tell you that this side of town is not bad. It's not near as bad as what some people will have you believe. Now, up until, I would say, a few months ago when the housing market really took off and went totally crazy, you used to be able to buy a house around here, move-in condition ready and all that, for around $25,000. Alright people, I'm going to see if I can readjust this camera a little bit for you folks. Oh, not really. Anyways. You used to be able to buy a house around here on this side of town, move-in condition ready for $25,000. But I would say on this side of town, most of your houses are gonna average $50,000 if you're looking for something that's move-in ready. So if you want to live here in Anderson and you're looking for a reasonably low price piece of real estate, then you might want to come and check out this side of Anderson. Now, on this side of Anderson, your property taxes are super low. I mean, I would say for many of these houses around here, your property taxes will be around $500 to $600 a year. Now, if you live in one of these houses as your primary residence, then your taxes will be half of that because you'll get the homestead tax break. Now, other than the fact that I just want to show you guys this side of Anderson, I mean, I've been telling you guys that I was going to do this video, so I'm doing it. But another reason why I'm doing this video is because, what irks me is you have investors that are coming over here to West Anderson and buying up a lot of these houses for, in many cases, pennies on the dollar. And then they're jacking up the cost of the house way up. A lot of time, I mean, now, I just want to make it real clear that I have nothing against real estate investors. I'm not against anybody making money off of real estate. My only issue is when you jack up the price of real estate to the point where I feel it's ridiculous, that's when I'm going to have an issue. And that's where I'm going to run my mouth. So this video might make some of you mad at me, but I really don't care. Because, see, here's the thing. Here on West Anderson, like I said, right now, in this current housing market, it would be reasonable to expect to pay $40,000 to $50,000 for a house on this side of town that's move-in condition ready. Now, I've seen houses on this side of town that are priced at $80,000 plus. Like, there's a house that I saw just the other day that it's in a community here on the west end of Anderson, to where the average house typically sells for around 50 grand. But this house I looked at, and remind you, this house is nothing fancy, it's nothing special. Whoever owns that house, they're asking close to $80,000 for the house. And then there was another house on this side of town to where the person was asking $150,000. And it was in a neighborhood to where the average house, once again, was selling for around 50, maybe 60 on a good day. So, one thing I would like you guys to take away as you watch my video here is, if you come here to Anderson to buy a house on the west, if you come here to West Anderson to buy a house, for your sake, please, triple please, don't spend beyond, I would say, $60,000 for a house. Like on this part of West Anderson, I wouldn't spend any more than $50,000. Because right now the housing prices are just completely out of whack. It's just crazy. So if you come over on this side of Anderson and you buy a house for, let's say, $100,000, and then the housing market crashes or slows up, which eventually it will do that, you're going to be stuck with a house that's to where you're going to owe way more than what the house is going to be worth. So if you get into a financial dilemma to where you cannot pay your mortgage, just like what happened to many people in 2008, you're gonna be forced to have to foreclose on your home, and now your credit's gonna be all messed up. Plus you're gonna have to pay money to hire a bankruptcy attorney. And, your life financially is just going to be a big mess. So one message I would like you guys to get as I do this video is, if you buy a house here in West Anderson, I would not spend much more than $50,000 for a house. Now, there are certain parts of this side of town to where the houses might be worth a tad bit more. So my best advice is, before you go buy a house anywhere, especially in a community like this one, do your due diligence and look at some of the prompts of what the houses surrounding the house that's for sale have sold for. So if you see a house that's for sale for, let's say, $85,000, type in that address and then look at some of the prompts close by. Another thing you're going to want to do is go online and pull up some of the records from the city. Because sometimes you can pull up records from the city, you can get an idea of what some of those houses may have sold for within the last year or so. Now I'm going to show you what I'm talking about a little bit. Now this area that I'm driving through right now, if I were to buy a house around here, I wouldn't pay no more than 50 grand. And for 50 grand, that house would have to be move-in condition ready. It would have to need little to no kind of major repairs. Now this house right here, that you see the for sale sign on, that person is seeking $78,000 for that house. Now I remind you, this neighborhood, I would say, is a $50,000 neighborhood. So whoever looks at a house like that, I wouldn't pay no more than 50 for that house. Now right now I'm on Sycamore Street, and I'm gonna turn down West 15th. Basically, I'm driving around the block from where that house is located. Now, as y'all can see, a lot of these houses around here don't look too shabby at all. I mean, you got a few that look kind of like crap, but most of these houses, they're okay. I mean, they're in okay condition. Most of the yards, I mean, they're not super kept up, but they're acceptable. And now I'm going to jump on Arrow Avenue. Just for a second. But yeah, this is the general area where that one house on West 14th is located. So if you decide to buy that particular house for $78,000, I mean, this is basically what you're going to be living around. This is basically what's going to be right around the corner from that property. Now, me personally, all this would be fine and acceptable if I was going to buy that house for $50,000. But there's no way in heck that I'm going to pay almost $80,000 for a home here in West Anderson and be in a community that's looking like this. So my suggestion to you guys is, before you come here to Anderson to buy a house, I suggest you educate yourself on the local housing market here in Anderson, Indiana. Because if you don't, then you're going to come around here and buy one of these houses and get royally ripped off. And honestly, that's a, like, I mean, don't just do that for Anderson, but anywhere you go to buy a house. I mean, know the local market before you purchase. Do your due diligence. Do your research. Ask questions. Dig up prompts. Do all that. Now, one thing I can say with confidence about West Anderson is, as I was saying earlier, West Anderson is not as bad as what some people will have you believe. Now, does West Anderson have its issues? Sure it does. But West Anderson, for the most part, is not a bad place to live. Now, if you have the extra money to buy something in a slightly more affluent part of the city, I'm not going to lie to you. If I were you, I would go ahead and do that. But if your money is low, or you just don't want to spend a lot of money on housing for whatever reason, then yeah, come here. You might want to come and check out West Anderson. Now, when it comes to some of the crime here in West Anderson, I mean, it's not near as bad over here in West Anderson as it is in, let's say, on the east side of Indianapolis. I mean, it's not near as bad as Indianapolis. I mean, here in West Anderson, I mean, basically, as long as you stay out of negativity's way and you mind your own business and don't do anything that you shouldn't be doing out here, then you'll be okay. You'll be okay. I mean, this ain't no jungle out here. Because depending on who you talk to, you'll have people telling you all kinds of wild shit about this side of town. And I can rest assured that it ain't no jungle. I mean, you're not going to be walking down the street out here and someone is just going to come up and mess with you just because. It ain't like that around here. I mean, around here, just live your life. Be yourself. Stay positive. Stay away from negative people. As long as you do that, you'll be all right. I mean, you don't have to be no tough guy to survive this side of town either. Just be a normal, functioning human being and you'll be okay. This side of town is not bad. It really isn't. It's not near as bad as what a lot of people will have you think. And another thing I want to let you guys know is when you come on this side of town or in communities like this, I mean, just kind of look around and use your better judgment in terms of what neighborhood, in terms of the neighborhood. I mean, like I said, for the most part, if you want to move over here to West Anderson, you'll be perfectly okay. You'll be safe. Nothing bad is going to happen to you. Now, there are certain sections of this side of town where, personally, I wouldn't want to live. So, my best advice is, when looking at a house on this side of town to purchase, just kind of look around at the area. I mean, you know, if you see a bunch of people walking around up to no good, hanging on the corners, that would be an area where I personally wouldn't want to purchase a home. And this video, of course, is more so for the first-time home buyer, or it's for the home buyer that's on a budget and doesn't want to spend a lot of money on housing. So for all of you investors that watch my channel, I appreciate you watching my channel and subbing to my channel. But I'm gonna still keep it 100 when it comes to what I think. When it comes to doing these type of videos, I'm gonna still keep it 100. Now on this street, and I've done a video of this already, there's a house on this street on the other side to where there's a house for sale for $104,000. Now, if you come around here, and again, if I were to buy a house around here, I wouldn't spend no more than 50 grand for one. And while I'm over here, I'm gonna kind of do a quick video. I mean, I've done it before, but I'm gonna do another one. Now, this is a house I'm talking about that's currently for sale. This house right here, this big house right here, is currently for sale for $104,000. Now, last time I looked it up, it was pending. So whoever is getting ready to buy this house or going to buy this house, this is going to be their community for $104,000. For $104,000, this is what they're going to be. This is what they're going to get. I'm going to just do a little drive around the block real quick, just to show you guys what I'm talking about. See, look at this house. I mean, this house, all the windows done been busted out. So, for $104,000, this is what this person's gonna get. This is gonna be their neighborhood. When they get up every morning, this is what they're going to have to look at on a daily basis as they get in their car and they drive to wherever they got to drive to. This is what they're going to get. I'm going to cut to the alleyway. For $104,000, this is what they're going to get. Now this video is gonna end in a couple of minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and do another video of West Anderson unless I can get it all on this video. Yeah, $104,000. This is what they get. And for those of you that don't know the housing market here in Anderson, I will tell you right now, for $104,000 here in Anderson, you can do 10 times better than this. Now I'm getting ready to jump on Martin Luther King Boulevard. Alright folks, in another few minutes or so, my camera is going to cut off on me, so I'm going to go ahead and take this opportunity to thank everybody for watching my video here. You know what you gotta do. Subscribe, thumbs up, comment below, all that good stuff. Now, as you guys can see, there are parts of West Anderson that are nice and clean, where for the most part people have pride in their property. But I would say West Anderson is one of those sides of the city where it's, you know, it's hit and miss. I mean, the west side of Anderson, much like the east side of Anderson, is hit and miss. So the best way to judge where you want to live over here in West Anderson is to, like I said a minute ago, just kind of drive around the community, look around at your surroundings, ask a few questions to some of the people that live in the community if you feel comfortable, or two, go to a local gas station and ask them a few questions. I mean, that's going to be your best bet of deciding where you want to live over here in West Anderson. Because West Anderson is hit and miss. Some areas are decent, some areas are just downright, they're just downright crappy. All right, folks, I'm cutting this off. Everybody have a blessed one. See you on the next video.